Good evening, everyone. The time has come for the Tuesday, February the 16th, 2021 virtual city council meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Mosier. Alderman Kirkwood.
Present.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
You have quorum, sir.
Okay. Invocation will be led by the Reverend and Pastor Dr. A.C. Conley, Senior of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, located at 517 Helmholtz Avenue, Waukegan, Illinois. Greetings, Pastor Conley. Immediately following the invocation, we will all stand for the pledge. Pastor Conley.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much to Mayor Cunningham, to all the members of the City Council. Thank you very much for allowing me to be before you on tonight. And I want to just thank also First Ward Alderman Bolton for spearheading to allow me to have this opportunity. And without further ado, let me do what I was asked to do. Would you please bow your heads with me as I pray? Our Father who art in heaven, let me just say at the onset, dear God, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here on this evening. Thank you for the many and abundant blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for life itself, for a reasonable portion of health and strength that we need to fulfill our callings and for friendship. Thank you, dear God, for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing responsibilities granted unto us. We also thank you for the freedom to embrace you or the freedoms to reject you. Thank you for loving us and granting us your abundant grace and mercy. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey government authorities because you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, dear God, I pray for our mayor, Sam Cunningham, for the various levels of city officials, and for this assembled city council. I would ask that you would grant them, Heavenly Father, wisdom to govern and the conflicting interests and issues of our times. I ask, Lord, you would grant them a sense of the welfare and the true needs of our people. Grant them a keen thirst for justice and righteousness. Grant them confidence in what is good and fitting for our citizens. Grant them the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement. Heavenly Father, grant them personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray, dear God, for the agenda set before them on this evening. Father, please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Waukegan. Father, it is in the blessed name that is above every name, that name of Jesus Christ, that I ask this prayer, and we all say together, amen. Again,
Amen.
thank you, Mayor and City Council.
Thank you, Pastor.
Appreciate it.
All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Conley. Very well said tonight as we end our part of our Black History Month with the city of Waukegan. Next on the agenda is mayor's comments. Vaccine site. We received some great news for Waukegan and North Chicago seniors 65 and older. COVID-19 vaccines are available at Greenbelt Culture Center and Oak Street Health Clinic. To register for the vaccine at Greenbelt Culture Center, please email North Chicago Community Partners at vaccine@northchicagocommunitypartners.org. And again, vaccine@northchicagocommunitypartners.org. Or with your full name, birthday, email address, and phone number to register for the vaccine at Oak Street Health. Contact Waukegan Township at 847-244-9242. Again, 847-244-9242. Alternate parking. I want to thank, and I suspect or expect that the alderman would share with me in this. We want to thank all of the residents who have been paying attention to alternate parking, especially during these snowstorms. For your information, a member of the Waukegan Police may knock on your door and ask you to move your vehicle when snow clearing is taking place. Public Works and the police department are working together to keep our streets as passable as possible. Again, Alderman, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you've received any calls, but Waukegan PD, our traffic division, the goal for them is to get compliance, not necessarily issue tickets. So you're gonna sometimes in some areas, if we want to be targeting specifically over probably the next 4 or 5 days, you might have officers knocking on doors, asking everyone to move the vehicle so we can remove and clear the snow off some of our streets. However, I want to say this, Alderman, and I need for you to make sure you drive this home. Snowbound vehicles. What is considered snowbound? If you see a car that has snow on it as high as the vehicle, that means it has not been moved in several days. We can no longer idly sit by and watch these vehicles not get moved. We are strongly considering having those vehicles towed out of the area to the prospective tow yards so we can move on and clean up the streets. More particularly over the next 2 or 3 days, we still have about an accumulation of 25 inches or more snow that needs to be moved off of our curbs, parkways, etc. If you have a snowbound vehicle and that car hasn't been touched, likelihood is going to be towed. Alderman, please, if you get calls, we need for your help to make sure they understand you just can't let it sit there. It can become dangerous not only for our trucks, but for people crossing back and forth. So that is very, very important. Speaking of snow removal, Public Works is removing piles of snow downtown and in other business districts after roads and parking lots are cleared. Again, we're gonna move these snow mounds in our downtown areas, some of our business districts, but our first priority is cleaning the streets. So if you get residents of some of your business districts, I know in that 6th, 7th ward, it's more of a problem than any place else. We got to get the beltways throughout the city open first, and we're going to do that. Mike and his team have been doing a fantastic job of trying to clear that stuff up as best as we can. Adopt the fire hydrant. Well, it's that time, everybody. You probably can't see the fire hydrant now. We got the sticks sticking out. That's how you're going to tell us where they're at. If you can, if you have the energy, please help out with cleaning the fire hydrant around as if by your home. I know Fire Chief Bridges and his team are certainly going out and when time permits for them, the fire department is clearing out some of the fire hydrants as well. But for the citizens, we certainly need your help in adopting the fire hydrant, clearing around that area in event of emergency. City stickers, the next 2 Saturdays, February the 20th and 27th, City Hall will be open for vehicle stickers sales from 8 a.m. until noon. Again, Saturdays, February the 20th and 27th, City Hall will be open for vehicle stickers from 8 a.m. until noon. We continue to suggest purchasing vehicle stickers online as the pandemic is not over, but they appreciate some people have questions and concerns they need answered while purchasing vehicle stickers. Early bird pricing ends March 31st. Jack Benny birthday. Join our Waukegan Park District in wishing Jack Benny an 88th, 39th birthday.
He never got older than 39.
Okay. All right, let's be clear. His official age is 88, but like some of us say, we're no older than 39. Birthday creating cards and tying it to the tree, bush, or fence at Jack Benny Plaza. The cards will remain up through February 22nd, celebrating one of Waukegan's more famous sons. That's all I have. And I might come back with something because I just received a call from Mrs. Jones, and she might be telling us something about the partnership with Erie Health Clinic. So if she can text that to me, it'd greatly be appreciated. We'll make sure we read that tonight. Right now, we're going to have a presentation in regards to our water plant. The presentation will go as follows. Tim Marabello, Great Lakes Construction Association. We'll talk about our amazing award. Patrick Planton of Baxter and Woodman, and our very own superintendent of Waukegan's water plant, Mr. Antonio Dominguez. All right, Tim, are you on?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mayor, for this time tonight. We were very excited to be able to give this award to a very, very great contractor through the association. The Great Lakes Construction Association has been awarded our annual Apex Award now for over 25 years. It goes to the finest project completed by a member in the association throughout Illinois and the rest of the United States. Our 2020 Apex Award winner for the utility category this year goes to Baxter and Woodman Bowler Design Build for the City of Waukegan Water System Improvements. The project owner, of course, the City of Waukegan, and we had over 20 active GLCA members participate on this project. The judging criteria consisted of quality of construction, design and engineering, impact on the community, spirit of cooperation amongst parties, and of course, safety record, the most important. The design of the filter construction was unique compared to all of the existing Lake County surface water treatment plants. There were only 3 other Lake County water filtration plants to exist when Waukegan's plant was built in 1927. No other Lake County water plant before or since has used the filtered under drain system designed and construction for Waukegan. So at this time, I would like to again congratulate Baxter and Woodman and the Bowler Design Build team, the City of Waukegan, and hand it over to the Wisconsin Division Manager with Baxter and Woodman Consulting Engineers. Thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And we certainly appreciate that. Alderman, if you have not seen it, here it is here, and it is kept in City Hall. And I can read it. It reads, APEC Owner Award for Project Excellence presented by Great Lakes Construction Association to the City of Waukegan, 2020 winner, utility category for Waukegan water system improvements. Thank you again, Tim. Really appreciate that. Next on the list is from Baxter Woodman. Patrick, are you on?
Yes, I am. Can everybody hear me? Thank you, Mayor. Can everybody see my screen? I've got a few slides I'd like to share. Actually, more than a few. Can everybody see the picture of the 1928 water filtration plant?
Not yet, Patrick.
Okay. Well, this is a picture just a year before the Great Depression started. That's when the plant was constructed 94 years ago, what it looked like when it was brand new. And part of our project was to reconstruct a critical part of the plant. Everybody hopefully knows where the plant's located, over by the beach next to the harbor. It's been there, like I said, since 1927. This is what the original design plans look like. And the water comes from Lake Michigan. They had 2 intakes back 90 plus years ago. The water goes into the sedimentation basins. The water is somewhat cleaned at that point. Some of the larger solids are settled out. Our project that Tim had mentioned, the award that Waukegan got, was for the reconstruction of the 10 filter cells. We did 5 of those cells in 2019, and we are doing the other 5 in 2020. And we're going to finish that second set of 5 in March. The original filtration capacity.
I'm sorry,
was,
Patrick, can you share your screen real quick for us?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I can't see anything. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys could. How about now?
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Did everyone get to see? Let's see. You saw that picture there, where the plant's located by Lake Michigan.
Yes, we see that now.
Okay, good. Here's the original plant layout from 94 years ago. Water comes into the plant, 2 intakes from the lake. Water goes into sedimentation basins. Our project was the filter cells that were reconstructed over the last 2 years. The original capacity of the plant was 10 million gallons per day. From there, the water goes to 2 reservoirs, the treated water, before it's pumped into the system using the high service pumps that were originally 3 pumps. Now there are more than 6 pumps. In 1967, 40 years later, there was a major expansion to the plant to the tune of just shy of $3 million, which would be the equivalent of $22 million today. Additional filters were added, additional sedimentation basins, and a new raw water pumping station was added. So the total filtration capacity back in 1967 was 18 million gallons a day. The utility pumps about 10 million gallons today on average to meet the demands of the city. In the summertime, it goes up to about 14. In the winter, it's about 8 or 9 million gallons per day. The first phase was the West 5 filters. It took us 12 months to get the project done. We did it on a design build basis. So we were able to expedite the project, get it done probably 6 months sooner than we would have done if it had been the traditional design build approach. The second phase was the East Bay 5 filters, and we were able to cut 2 more months off that project. We started that last May, and we're going to finish that second set of filters next month in March and put those online. This is what the filters looked like right before we started tearing them apart. And the biggest challenge, like Tim had mentioned, was the filter under drain system. It's a kind of a technical process, but the 1927 filter cross section that you can see was high technology back in the day, and it just wasn't going to allow us to reconstruct these filters with the constraints that we had with the plant. We came up with an innovative way to use a new type of under drain system and be able to retrofit new technology filtration equipment into the 93O filters. This is what it looks like putting those under drain system in, kind of a modular system. One of the most interesting things that I saw was putting these large new backwash troughs into the plant, getting them inside from the parking lot, up the stairs, into the filter bay, and then around, and actually set them into place. And that's what the crews did, the Bowlers crews did in January for the second set of 5 filters that we just finished. And then, as a matter of fact, right now, this was over a year ago for the first 5 filters. We're doing this right now for the second set of 5 filters. We're adding in the new filter media. You can see it on the lower right-hand picture over here. This is the 15 inches of just silica sand. And right now we're loading into, on top of the sand, 12 inches of anthracite coal. It's a dual media filtration system to essentially clean the raw water from Lake Michigan and make it drinkable. So here's kind of a before and after, 93 years ago on the left and a year ago on the right, the old filters and the newly reconstructed filters on the west side of the plant. And here's, nobody gets to see the bowels of the plant very frequently. If you go underneath, in between the filters, you can see the 1927 piping that was there and what it currently looks like right now taking water from the filters and over to the reservoirs. Another big component of our project was replacement of all the chemical feed systems. There's 4 major chemical feed systems for the Waukegan water to be purified. There's alum that's added to aid in the coagulation and settling of solids and organics coming out of the raw Lake Michigan water. Fluoride is added for dental protection. A polymer feed system works with the alum system to try and coagulate the larger particles coming out of Lake Michigan. And then the disinfection system, the chlorine system, was completely replaced. That was put in back in 1967. Then the orthophosphate system was also replaced. That chemical is used for corrosion control to reduce leaching of lead coming from lead services to your customers' plumbing in their homes and businesses. So here's an example of the 25-year-old chemical feed pumps that were in need of replacement with the new technology peristaltic pumps. Those were the alum pumps. Here's the picture of the new pumps for the fluoride system versus the old 25-year-old pumps that were replaced. Here are the new orthophosphate corrosion control chemical pumps compared to the old 15-year-old pumps for the orthophosphate. One of the big things was that there was lead-based paint on every steel and metal surface throughout the plant. These are the big 10,000-gallon alum and fluoride tanks, and we were able to replace those with tanks a fraction of the size. The alum tanks, there were 2 of those at 10,000 gallons each that we had to cut apart to be able to take out of the basement of the plant. And we replaced the alum tanks with 2 1,150-gallon gallon tanks. And the fluoride tanks, 10,000 gallons, we replaced those with just the 2 325-gallon tanks. And that's all that was necessary because everything was oversized for the design parameters of 90 years ago. Here's the chlorine room. The old chlorination system, they looked like gas pumps. And that was new technology from 1968. This is what the chlorine system, pump room looks like right now with the new technology chlorinators for the water treatment plant. We changed out old Venturi 95-year-old flow meters with new technology, electric magnetic flow meters for all 10 filters. The old hydraulic valve operators were replaced with new technology, electrically actuated valve operators. Huge improvement to the plant. Here's a picture of the filters being backwashed for the very first time, getting rid of the fines in the media and getting prepared to turn the plant into service. Here's a picture of very old technology. This was the controls for 50 years from 1928 to 1967 to the 1980s, actually. Here's the 1980s controls, some buttons, lights, levers that were used up until 2020. A year ago, those were replaced with a panel. Everything is electronic, programmable logic controllers, a touch screen that the operators can use to view status of the plant. Here's a picture of plant manager Antonio about to push the button to turn the first phase of filters into service almost exactly 1 year ago today. And this was when the filters were operational, the brand new filters. And the plant is saving about 78% less water when those filters are being cleaned, going through a backwash process. So less water is being wasted, less water needs to be recycled, less water needs to be pumped, which equates to less electrical cost for the utility to operate this plant. So good news and bad news. The bad news is there was costs involved. The filter reconstruction was almost $2.7 million for each set of filters. The chemical feed improvements were just over $800,000. So there were some other improvements to the reclaim building and the reclaim and recycle system pumps, sludge pumps were replaced. The total project cost for our design build portion for the filtration equipment replacements was just under $6.9 million. The good news, though, and I know this is something near and dear to Mayor Cunningham's heart, is we increased the plant capacity. The capacity as of 2 years ago was 26 million gallons per day. And the plant now, with as of next month in March, when we start up the second set of 5 filters, that plant capacity, without increasing the size of the filters at all, just by the new equipment and being able to re-rate those filters, the plant will now filter 38 million gallons of water per day if needed. So we had a great set of partners, including the staff, the city, the plant operators. Antonio was instrumental in getting this project done on time and on budget. And with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions people might have.
Well, then I really thank you for the presentation. It was very excellent. Really
Thank you.
Very informative.
Waukegan has been a great client to work for.
Well, any questions from the Alderman regarding this phase of the presentation? Okay. Well, thank you.
This is Treasurer Schwab, and I've been down to the plant. I've had that tour, and I recommend every alderman go and arrange a tour at the water plant.
All right, can you do me a favor, Patrick?
Sure.
Can you please show us some of the cost again, so we
Sure.
get the full impact of what we are investing in, please?
Okay, can you see that, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Alderman Taylor has a question, Mayor.
Alderman, I'm sorry, Alderman Taylor. Alderman Taylor.
I have two questions, actually. At one time, I thought when I was down there that we had one inlet in. Have we changed that at all, or? So that's my first question. And second of all, I see all these improvements and I know we still have more. Can you remind us what else we need to do?
Sure. First question was the inlets. We refer to them as intakes. And
Okay.
there were two original intakes back in 1927. One into the harbor that's since been abandoned, and one into the lake. And then there was a very short one, about 1,200 feet, if memory serves. And then right before the 1967 expansion in 1966, there was a new 48-inch diameter inlet intake pipe into the lake, more than a mile, which is the primary intake that supplies water to the plant. So that was most recently done in 1967. So there are two, but there's a real large one that is the majority of the water that comes in. And Alderman Taylor, or Alderperson Taylor, your second question was, what else needs to get done? There's a variety of projects, and I don't know if we have time to get into any kind of a detailed discussion, but as our projects were winding down last fall, we did help the folks at Infrastructure Engineering, and I'm going to put something on my screen real quick. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. What we helped Antonio and the city do is, this is a series of recommended projects that we looked at for the various components at the plant. And there are a lot of big numbers there. Not everything has to be done today. Not everything could be afforded to be done today, but there's still a lot of work that still needs to get done. So we looked at improvements to the various processes. We put a priority score on each one of these pieces of equipment or processes. We looked at the probability of failure and the consequence of failure. Primarily is that, what's the likelihood a piece of equipment could fail in the next 2 to 5 years? And then what would be the consequence to the city if there was a failure? And 1.0 would mean it'd be drastic. You'd be out of water, things like that. So we looked at ranking those based on these objective probability and consequence of failures. And then all these 20 projects we looked at, there's a sequence that they have to be completed by. Some projects have to go before other ones. For example, the reservoir, that treated water reservoir right now is out of service. It's been out of service since July. It needs some improvements. It needs some major maintenance. And that's a highly recommended project number 2 right here, because we know that there are things that have failed in that reservoir that needs to be improved. So we took this, we talked it over with the folks at Infrastructure Engineering, and then we looked at, here's where I was talking about, some projects have to be done before other ones can start at the plant, just because the way water flows through the Waukegan water plant. So in answer to your question, Alderman Taylor, that here's what would be remaining. Not all these are the highest priority projects. It wasn't meant to be projects that had to be done in the next 2 years necessarily, but there is some that are much higher priority than other ones. For example, number 1, the electrical equipment at the raw water pump station. That equipment is 54 years old now. And the concern is that spare parts aren't available. If those mechanical electrical panels would fail, the pumps wouldn't work and you couldn't pump water through the intakes into the plant. So we said that's a very high priority project. And then the East Reservoir improvements, that's number 2. And then you can see some of the other list. And I can share this list with you or the mayor, or anybody who would be interested. But I know infrastructure engineering has seen this list and we've talked to them about it.
And just to add to Alderman, not only have we seen the list, we've already mapped out I think a 3 to 5 year plan based on the bonds we just passed this summer. So we'll be bringing that to you shortly. And to Patrick's point, the electrical panel, we found out as we were doing the upgrades of the reservoir, that came to light when we were doing the upgrade. So some of these are just, they're old, and but we will be bringing a CIP plan for the water plant. I think that should be ready by March, the first meeting or the second meeting of March. And they are in that prioritized way that's needed immediately based out. So be looking forward for that. But good question, Alderman Taylor. But again, these are the investments that we have to do to our aging community in order for us to be ready for today, but prepared for tomorrow. And that's just, it's old. There was no fault to anybody. It's the time, but it must be done in an efficient and effective way through the bond process that we have, mapping out over 3 years, making sure that it does not interrupt our water flow to not only the customers in the city of Waukegan, but our other customers from two or three different communities, with the hopes of adding more customers for the future. That's what this investment is all about. So all of you did a great job in saying that, yes, we're going to do this, and having the right partners to do it with. And we love for them to come in under budget. Unfortunately, looking at the dollar amounts that are here and having an experienced person like Antonio, I think Tony has 26 years. I'm teeing him up right now to close it out, this presentation. 26 years of Waukegan water plant and water plant experience, and overseeing these projects is critical to balancing the upgrades while maintaining the level of service and capacity that is needed to provide water to our various communities along with ourselves.
Can I just ask or finish part of that question, Mayor?
Sure.
When we were talking about they're not intakes, what are they called? I call them intakes, but I know that's not the correct term.
Inlets.
Inlets. And when we have 2 of them and we're down to 1, do we have to go back to 2, or are we okay with 1?
Well, that's more of a technical question. I mean, Antonio could answer that, or Patrick, do you want to tackle that?
Well, let Antonio give it a shot first. And they are called intakes, not inlets. They're intakes.
Intakes. So the intake valve on those. Yeah, I know we had 2. And just from while I was on council floor, we went through a bigger intake versus those smaller ones. And that's why at that time it was chosen. But Antonio, why don't you, it's a great tee up for you, sir. Why don't you go ahead and answer that for us?
Yes, so there is 2 intakes, and one needs electricity ran over to where that valve is located, so we can open the valve automatically instead of actually hand turning the valve. So that's one of the projects that we're looking to do with one of the priority projects that's coming up that we would like to do.
So is that part of the new electrical equipment then?
No.
No, it's separate. It's part of HR Green, the engineer. They're doing that project. So it's ready to go. It's just we have to approve the project. So we have to go out to bid also.
And again, Alderman Taylor and the rest of the aldermen, that's part of the CIP water plant CIP project will be coming up rather quickly, and it's based on the priorities sequencing by Baxter. Was it Baxter Woodman who did this? Who did this for us? Antonio.
It was HR Green that did this
HR
project,
grant.
the project. Yeah, for the intake.
Okay, and what is the projected cost? And I know it's there, I don't have it in front of me. What is the projected cost of that? Just that what's on here already? Isn't it on here? Is it listed on here, Antonio?
It might be on there. That I can't really read that because it's so small, but I believe it was close to like $300,000.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add, Antonio?
Just one more thing, that we were also selected to for the seminar at the AWWA conference last year. We were supposed to present this presentation, but because of COVID, they canceled the conference. But we were going to bring this presentation for the conference in Springfield.
And I think that presentation, it really goes to how you can take older plants like this, not take them offline to do the necessary repairs, and in a timely fashion that we did it was one of the reasons we were selected, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And it also helps other water plants, and they ask questions on what did you do, or what went wrong, or what helped out by doing the project.
So it sounds like we were kind of the guinea pigs here, Patrick. Were we the guinea pigs here for?
To some extent, yes, but sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and like I said, trying to retrofit old facilities with new equipment is the biggest engineering challenge we have with this project. And we looked at a number of different types of filtration equipment, under drains that we could use, came up with one that didn't have to do major changes to the filters themselves, just gutting them out and replacing the equipment that was there. That new technology equipment probably saved Waukegan a minimum of $500,000 or more. So, and it's great technology, and it's going to be used in many, many other places. It just hasn't been used at very large surface water plants like Waukegan's. That's why I think the award was warranted.
Awesome. Well, Antonio, did you anything else you wanted to add before we close out the presentation?
No, it was just great working with Baxter Woodman and Bowler. Everything worked out, and we had really no issues. And the good thing, everything was done without anybody being hurt. So safety is a big issue.
Yes, sir. Alderman, Antonio and I were on the phone probably was last Saturday or Sunday early. If you notice, there was an article in the, not an article, but there was a segment done on the news where you saw big chunks of ice floating in Lake Michigan. Well, that 46-inch diameter intake valve sucked in one of those, and Antonio and his team did a fantastic job of making sure that it did not slow down production, well, bringing in water to the plant so we can continue to distribute it to our customers. So that was a huge deal. He was quite worried. I think we all were. And Antonio, if you can talk briefly a little bit about that and how that process worked.
Yes, so there was actually, it was more cities that were bringing in ice, so they couldn't pump water, and normally this happens at night. But yeah, we couldn't pump water pretty much all night from like 11 to about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we were able to start pumping water. So yeah, we did have an issue, but we had this before, I believe in 2016, and we pretty much know what to do when this happens. You just try to fill up all the reservoirs and try to cut to a low rate at night, and then just wait till you can bring in more water early in the morning when the sun comes out, if it comes out.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank Tim, Patrick, and certainly Antonio, our very own Antonio, our superintendent of water plant, for giving us this presentation, identifying identifying some of the upgrades that all of us have been able to watch and take place for Waukegan and what we're going to be looking to do in the future. Like I said, we're going to be bringing a CIP plan for water plant, if not next March 1 or March, second meeting in March, for us to start going out for some, approving some bids and things like that. Again, our ultimate goal is to be able to sell water to our neighbors out west. That's the goal here. And I really believe we're on track to do that. With that being said, I don't know, Alderman, did you have any more questions as pertains to the presentation? All right, thank you, gentlemen, again. And congratulations to Antonio and the water plant team for this project, along with our business partners of helping us upgrade our 100-year-old water plant. And this is here's some history here. I was out and I received a call from Mr. Keller, Nicholas Keller. Well, Mr. Keller wanted to show me something where he showed me where his father was a commissioner. I guess they call us commissioner, like a building commissioner for Waukegan, where he was the first person to introduce in a bond in building our Waukegan water plant. The family lives right here in Waukegan. Amazing. And I think it's the 7th Ward, Alderman Rivera. What? I was like, how can we need to know this. His dad helped build our original water plant. And here we are over 100 years later doing a rebuilding, or upgrading facility that was built by a resident of Waukegan, and the family's still here. So I told him I would shout that out over the council meeting. To close out my mayor's comments, I want to send a special condolences to the Epperson family. Mr. Epperson passed away this past week, a long-term family, I think in the 5th Ward. And I went to school with his children, a little bit older than I am. They went to West now, and they weren't Bulldogs, but awesome family. Epperson belonged to Trinity AME Church, spent a lot of time, I know, in PTA and other things, booster clubs throughout the Waukegan community. So on behalf of myself, Clerk Kelly, Treasurer Schwab, and the aldermen and the great citizens of Waukegan, we send our condolences to the Epperson family. With that being said, that is all of Mayor's comments. Item 2, Black History, proclamations, presentations, appointments, and resolutions. There's a motion on the floor, motion by Alderman Newsom, the second by Alderman Kirkwood, to a proclamation of proclaiming February is Black History Month in Waukegan. The proclamation is going to be read by Madam Clerk. There's a motion and a second on the floor. After the reading, if there's any questions or comments, feel free to go in there. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Proclamation February is Black History Month in Waukegan. Whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas in 1915, Dr. Carter Goodwin Woodson, noted Black scholar and son of former slaves, founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which was later renamed the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas Dr. Woodson initiated Black History Week, February 12, 1926, and for many years, the second week of February, chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, was celebrated by African Americans in the United States. And whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and became established as Black History Month. and is now celebrated all over North America. And whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our attention to the continued need to battle racism and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. And whereas this year's theme for Black History Month is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity, invites everyone to understand and celebrate the strength of Black families in our community and across the nation. And whereas the city of Waukegan is deeply committed to equity and inclusion and continues to work toward being a community in which all citizens are respected and recognized for their history, contributions, and potential contributions to our city, the state, the country, and the world. And whereas our city is better because of the diversity of our population. And now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Cunningham and members of the City Council of Waukegan, Illinois, do hereby proclaim February as Black History Month in Waukegan to recognize the history and ongoing efforts and continuing contributions of the Black African American communities within our city and encourage all citizens to eliminate prejudice wherever it exists to further celebrate and embrace our great diversity.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Mute yourself, Pat. Alt A. Alt A.
Alderman Seager. Where you got it?
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, sir.
Thank you. Motion's passed and carried. Item B, motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Turner, to approve a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding to resolve a grievance with IAFF Local 473 in a form attached with the total pay adjustment to affect current and former fire personnel in a gross amount of $14,528.63. Any questions on the motion?
Mayor, you're getting a severe echo when you speak. Thank you. Try it now.
I think because Janet had her mic open.
Okay, I think we got it corrected, but thank you, Alderman Turner.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Alderman Florian has a question.
Yeah.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just curious. I know it's your duty to do the negotiating with the unions, and I was just wondering if you could expand a little bit on what this entails and what it means going forward.
Ma'am, I think a lot of that was in the package that was there, but the attorneys who handled
There's still an echo.
A lot of echo.
I know we got an echo.
Janet's not on mute. There we go.
All right. Bob, can you go through with that explanation, please?
Yeah, there was a disagreement between things didn't exactly align between the salary ordinance and the terms of the contract. So people were having their promotions were being held for a little while as you move somebody up ahead of them, that we weren't backfilling the ranks at the same pace that the contract called for. So as you see, this was a grievance that was designed to remedy that problem and bring it in alignment with the contract. So every time there's a promotion, there'll probably be a cost of a couple $1,000s to bring somebody in somewhere along in that, because they are entitled to their pay from the point in time. I think it's 50 days after the prior after the slot opens up, they have to be filled within a given period of time. So it's just a matter of tracking this and keeping in track with the contract.
And why weren't we filling them in time?
It has historically not been done that way. The contract called for one thing and the salary ordinance called for something else, and there seemed to be a tension. And this grievance was brought to resolve that tension.
Yeah, it's been Alderman, quite frankly, we have 60 days in some of these contracts. You have either 60 days, 20 days, 30 days to backfill maybe a sergeant's position, lieutenant's position. What we were trying to do, one of the goals is making sure that that person, when they left, that the money that would have been spent for that position broke even before we backfill. According to the contract, you can't do it. That's the gist of it. But all that was in complete details in all of your packages. So hopefully we'll be able to remedy this going forward for all of our personnel when it comes to promotions. Okay, any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Motion's passed and carried. Item 3, audience time. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. We have 2 letters tonight from the public. They will be read by David Motley, the Public Relations Manager, and they have 3 minutes. So David.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor, council members, the first presentation is, first letter is from Logan Alcosiba. Dear Mayor Sam Cunningham and Waukegan Alderman, in solidarity with the recent Black Lives Matter protests, I'm writing to bring your attention to the death of Marcellus Stinnett under the oversight of the Waukegan Police Department. On October 20th, 2020, 19-year-old Marcellus Stinnett and his 20-year-old girlfriend, Tafara Williams, were parked outside of Tafara's mother's house when their vehicle was reported to police as suspicious. A Waukegan police officer pulled up beside them without activating his car lights or siren. Tafara opened the window and turned on the car's interior lights to indicate that the couple had no weapons and were not doing anything illegal. The officer, however, recognized Marcellus and verbally harassed them. When Tafara asked if they were free to leave, the officer took a few steps away from the car. Taking that as her cue, Tafara drove away slowly. The officer did not follow them. A short time later, however, another police car started to chase them. After about 20 seconds, Tafara tried to pull over and hit a telephone pole wire. The officer pulled up next to her car when she tried to reverse. Upon seeing her reverse, the officer immediately opened fire, wounding both of them and causing Tafara to crash into a building. The couple was dragged out of the car by officers and were left bleeding on the ground without any medical assistance for 8 minutes. Though they were taken to the local hospital, Marcellus died soon after. Marcellus did not deserve to die. The officers should have never fired at their car. Tafara and Marcellus were unarmed throughout the entire encounter, and they never tried to hurt the police. The Waukegan Police Department has made a step in the right direction by firing the foremost offending police officer, but this is not enough. We cannot allow police, whether presently employed or not, to kill unarmed people without any repercussions. Furthermore, we must fix our broken system that enables police brutality by funding alternative methods of safety for our communities. I ask that this case be thoroughly investigated and that the Waukegan police officers involved be named and held accountable for their actions in criminal court. Additionally, Waukegan must increase police accountability by providing transparency on the use of force against subjects with statistics on the race, gender, disability, religion, and age of subjects made publicly available. Waukegan should also work to have the state of Illinois follow Colorado's reforms in blocking qualified immunity as a defense for police officers in state court. I also ask for the Waukegan Police Department's budget to be further downsized to demilitarize the police force, and that the money instead be used for community services and alternative crisis interventions, especially for the homeless and the mentally ill. Doing so will make living in Waukegan safer for minorities who suffered the brunt of police brutality. The lack of police accountability is a strain on a group that alleges to serve the people and uphold the law. There is no justice if the police are exempt from the law. If Waukegan continues to ignore cases like Marcellus Stinet's, you will be complicit in upholding structures of corruption. Sincerely, Logan Alcosiba. The second submission is from Margaret Carrasco. The unauthorized practice of medicine occurs when someone gives medical advice or treatment without a professional license. As a result, every state in the United States made the unauthorized practice a criminal offense with potentially serious penalties. Alert. Waukegan residents, are you aware that the Lake County Health Department issued a letter, see attached, in which they are asking all Lake County employees in any department to volunteer 15 hours a week over the next 3 weeks to help answer your COVID questions, to answer a backlog of emails and voice messages related to COVID-19 from us. Yes, us, Waukegan residents. The health department is just putting anyone with no medical degree to answer our Waukegan residents' medical COVID questions. This is appalling. Waukegan residents deserve to speak with a licensed medical professional when they contact the Lake County Health Department and nothing less. How many people were aware of this? How can this be allowed? Margaret Carrasco. And this concludes this evening's submissions, Madam Clerk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Motley. Those letters are attached to board docs if you'd like to review them on your own time. Mayor, that concludes audience time.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Mayor, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Item 4, consent agenda. Motion by Alderman Newsome, a second by Alderman Rivera for items 4A through 4CC. Are any questions to the motion?
I think there's one that's being pulled out.
Okay. Let's go. I know we had Alderman Turner and Alderman Florian, but which one is going to be pulled out, Alderman Rivera?
N, I believe it was. Is that right, Alderman Newsome?
No, I had my agenda printed prior to your agenda. So one of the items that was on my agenda was pulled. Not anything that was on the final agenda. I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, then Alderman Turner, you asking for something to be taken off, sir?
Yes, sir. If you don't object, I'd like to pull out item B, item C, item D.
You said D is in David?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Item H, item J, item L.
Okay, Alderman Florian.
You got mine.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. The motions by Alderman Newsome and Rivera for items 4A, E through G, items I, M through CC.
Gotta get K, Mayor. You also want to include K, sir.
Okay. Include for to take off or?
No, you want to include that in your consent agenda.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that, yes. Items I, K, then M through CC. All right, I will read those. Janet, I might need some help, but I think I got it. Here we go. Motion to approve regular meeting minutes from Monday, February 1, 2021. 4E, motion to authorize up to $35,000 in spending authority and to approve section 2-45I, parentheses 7, good faith waiver for citywide purchases related to supplies, equipment from Uline from May 1, 2020 to April 30th, 2021, this fiscal year. Items 4F, authorize up to $45,000 in spending authority to approve section section 2-458, section parentheses I, parentheses 7, good faith waiver for citywide purchases related to supplies, equipment from Amazon for the May 1, 2020 to April 30th, 2021. Items 4G, motion to approve the City of Waukegan 2021 share of the Pound Square Waukegan Common Area Expense budget allocation of $86,121 to be paid in quarterly installments. Items I, motion to authorize additional spending authority, $22,893.60 to Ozinga for the purchase of annual commodities contract awarded August 17, 2020 for $51,000 for a new and revised contract amount of $73,893.60. Items K, motion to authorize the proper city official to approve payment to Campanella and Sons for an emergency water main break at Sheridan Road, Greenwood, and South Water Streets per section 2-458, parentheses I, parentheses 2, bona fide operating emergency for the amount of $14,766.40. Items 4M, motion to approve $201,834 to be dispersed to YCRG Trust for the City of Waukegan share of 2021 cash call required for ongoing engineering and maintenance of closed Yeoman Creek landfill. Items N, motion to approve resolution reallocating 2021 volume cap of the Village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois, to allow for the City of Waukegan's participation in a private activity bond clearinghouse pool facilitated by the Lake County Partners for Economic Development, Inc. Items 4O, motion to authorize the Director of Planning and Economic Development to make formal application for a grant with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, Local Technical Assistance, Resource Opportunity Impact Program. This grant is for technical assistance with no anticipated expenditure of funds. Items 4P, authorize the building commissioner to make formal application for a grant with Illinois Housing Development IHDA, Abandoned Residential Property Municipal Relief Fund, APP, Round 5 program. This is a reimbursement grant over $250,000 with no local match requirement. Items 4Q, motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with a FEMA Assistance and Firefighters Grant for Prevention and Safety Program. This is a reimbursable grant up to $200,000 with a required local match of $20,000. Items 4R, motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant. This is a reimbursable grant for up to $54,140 with the required local match of $4,992. I'm sorry, $4,922. Items 4S, motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the North Shore Gas Company Smoke Detector and Company Monitor Grant Program. This is a reimbursable grant, $2,500 with no local match. Items 4T, authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with a Walmart Community Grant Program. This is a grant for payments made directly to vendors on the city's behalf, so there is no anticipated expenditure of city funds. Items 4U, motion to authorize the Public Works Director to make formal application for a grant with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. This is a reimbursable grant, and as current assessment on ongoing, the dollar value is not known at this time. Items 4B, motion to approve in the payments dated February 15th, 2021 in a total amount of $2,133,043,085. Items 4W, motion to approve regular payroll dated February 12th, 2021 in a total amount of $1,638,660.18. Items 4X, to approve elected officials civil service stipend dated February 12th, 2021 in a total amount of $6,866.66. Items 4Y, motion to approve comp time cash out dated February 12th, 2021 in a total amount of $1,647.92. Items 4Z, motion to approve PD holiday buyback dated February 12th, 2021, the total amount of $6,015.52. Items 4AA, motion to approve SEIU holiday retro dated February 12th, holiday pay retro dated February 12th, 2021, in total amount of $43,285.40. Items 4BB, motion to approve final payout names listed on the agenda and the total amount dated February 12th, 2021, in a total amount of $45,662.47. And items 4CC, motion to approve all raffle permits. I did it. Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, sir.
Motion passed. Motion passed and carried. There's a motion on the floor with Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Rivera. And there was a to approve ordinance extending emergency COVID-19. Alderman Turner, you had a question?
Yes, sir. More of a commentary in that I'm really delighted that the state is opening up. Many of our restaurants are reopened. There's a lot of relief being felt throughout our community. Even here or there in City Hall, we're no longer screening people when they enter. You don't take their temperature and ask them a series of questions. So, it's my observation that the state, an emergency doesn't last for a year. And so I think we need to move in the direction of I'm not saying that COVID-19, there's still not a concern and that we still need to take precautions. All I'm saying is that it's no longer an emergency. And I think we need to move away from these emergency declarations and procedures. That's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor,
I guess before I say yes or no, my question is, at what time are we looking at coming back for the public? Because there's a lot of public residents that just feel like we've been gone for too long. Is there a plan for us to come back, and what do you see that plan being?
Until we reach 80%, or I think it's 80% COVID vaccination, I don't see that happening no time soon. And that's just the CDC guidelines.
Well, there are some other communities that do have meetings. Are there precautions that we could take that we could still have meetings?
Okay, I'll look at those precautions, ma'am, and advise you further. But I'm going by the CDC right now.
Right.
CDC, Illinois Department of Public Health. We need to get to 80%.
I just wanted clarifications for residents who are asking.
Okay,
thank
you. The clarification is we will move in that direction as soon as we get to that 80%. And we have a long way to go before there. Thank you, though. But thank you for asking. And please inform the residents. Zoom is working. Roll call, please. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
No.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion passed and carried. Motion on the floor is by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Rivera, to authorize the proper city official to extend the agreement with Michael Hill on November 18, 2019 for the purpose of recording, editing, producing, delivering public meetings, May 20, 2021, and to add an additional $2,720 in the spending authority, bringing the revised contract value for not to exceed $102,720. Alderman Turner, you had a question?
Yes, sir. This is another no bid contract extension with a 22% increase. And I understand, excuse me, Mr. Hill has been doing this for a long time, recording our council meetings when we were in council chambers. Now we're doing these meetings virtually. There's a record function here on Zoom. There's no need for editing. The meetings are supposed to be open, and what we're saying and what's being processed within our meetings should be captured in its entirety. Nothing should be edited out. And I have an objection to, again, a no bid contract in this amount. So.
Alderman Turner, let's be clear.
Yes, sir.
It's not a no bid contract. They've had the contract. They've been doing it. Sir, this is required. I hear and understand.
It says extended, so the contract is over.
It's not over, sir. These are the ones who are going to be doing our recordings. That's right now.
I got it. So
I'm sorry that you don't
anyone
like
else have a chance to bid on this service?
Alderman Turner, they're the ones who we gave the original contract to, sir.
I understand that, but that doesn't mean they get it in perpetuity. This guy's been doing it for 20 years or so.
Okay, he's our guy.
Never have an opportunity to bid on providing.
And when the contract comes back up again, Alderman,
you can't get a lower price. You give them
Alderman, when the contract comes up again, we'll have that
22% bump.
All right, it's not a 22% bump. This was required due to COVID-19, sir.
I understand.
You know that. You're just trying to make it an issue. You're trying to go there. Alderman, you say this all the time. Read the material, please.
I'm reading the material. I'm doing the calculations. I suggest you do the same.
All right. Any other questions?
22% increase for what? What's the rationale behind it? Because there's a
thank you, Alderman.
Everybody's got COVID-19.
All right. Thank you, Alderman. Any other questions? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
I'm voting aye on this, but I do think Alderman Turner brings up some very good points that things at least should go out for bid.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Alderman Rivera.
And I would like to concur with Alderman Taylor and Alderman Turner that stuff like this does need to go out for RFP. I will vote aye for it, but when it comes through, we should be doing RFPs for this. Thank you.
Alderman Florian.
I also agree with that, but I will vote aye this time.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you for your support, Alderman. And items 4H. 4H is motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman.
D.
I'm sorry. D. I apologize. I skipped over. Item D, motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Rivera. Motion to increase spending authority to Kane McKenna and Association for $22,000 for the purpose of economic development and financial advisory services. This would be an additional project for Kane McKenna has assisting the city with this fiscal year, revising authorized payments to the vendor for a new $72,000. Alderman Turner, I'm assuming it's the same thing.
My comment is similar to my previous comment. This is a 44% increase with no bid. And there seems to be a pattern where we're extending contracts, revising contracts, and issuing contracts without change orders. A lot of fiscal irresponsibility. And
hold on, stop. I disagree with that, sir. I disagree with that, Alderman Turner. It's not fiscal
certainly a lack of transparency.
Well, it is lack of I mean, sir, this is transparent. You can't get more transparent than this, Alderman. Read your material. Stop coming and making accusations to this staff.
I just made a statement. This is my observation.
Yes, you are, Alderman.
My objection.
Alderman, it's not your objection. That's your accusation because you know this is political.
So
not in. Let's stick to the facts, Alderman. You've been here and understand how
on this contract. Besides,
I know, Alderman. I know. You have your way of doing things. I have mine. You have no tax Turner. You don't want anything to go. That's who you are.
Is anybody in charge of this meeting?
Yes, I am, Alderman. Thank you. I'm gonna go with Alderman Newsome, but let Bob come in so he can explain what this is, so we can have no tax Turner with his no bid. Thank you.
Well, Noel.
What I would like to add here at this point is this is a pass-through contract that we need to get approved so that we can get the solar project moving on Yeoman Creek.
Right.
We're not paying for this. This is our solar contractor that has signed a lease with the Yeoman Creek Resource Group. They're going to put solar power on there. They're going to provide rental payments to the city and to the school district.
Right.
They're the ones that wanted the expansion of the enterprise zone and agreed to pick up the entire cost. They wanted to use Kane McKenna because because they are familiar with the area. They did the original enterprise zone and are in the position to do it much faster than anybody else would. That's why they asked for this.
Okay, so we didn't go out to bid. That's the answer. Thank you.
We didn't go out to bid because they
All I asked.
didn't go out to bid.
No bid. Thank you, sir.
No, Noel, please.
No, we have, hold on a second. I'm running the meeting. Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Newsom.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. We discussed this in, well, there were no questions brought up in committee regarding this item.
Right.
And Noel is here to address it, that they extended the enterprise zone. McKenna was already doing the work, so they extended it. The money's coming out of escrow that they already have, and Noel can continue to give you the information on that.
All right, thank you, Noel. Thank you, Alderman. And I'm surprised there were no questions in committee, but it's to be expected. Noel, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. This contract was disclosed to you in October at the time the escrow agreement with BQ Energy was brought forward. The amount of this contract does not meet the threshold for requiring City Council approval on its own. It's being brought to you now because it was my mistake not to bring it forward at that time as an additional contract for the same vendor. So it's the vendor having multiple contracts in the year that makes it meet that purchasing threshold. But as a standalone contract, it does not require bids or City Council approval. As Corporation Counsel Long said, this vendor was chosen because this is the only vendor that has worked on the enterprise zone. It's a combined enterprise zone between Waukegan and North Chicago. This is the contractor who won the original RFP for the creation of the enterprise zone, and each of the amendments to the enterprise zone have had this same contractor. Since the threshold was not met in terms of going out for bid, we did not, or an RFP, we did not issue an RFP. We asked for a quote from this vendor, and they were able and willing to provide the services. And as Bob said, likely saved us quite a bit of money because they were already familiar with the zone, had all of the documents in their own files. And it is being paid through the escrow.
Wow, great. Thank you for that's a wonderful explanation, Noel. You're the best. Thank you very much.
It's in your package. Read the package, Alderman.
I read the packet.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman. Roll call, please.
There's a question on the floor.
I'm sorry. Alderman Taylor?
I just have a quick question. I know when we do these solar panels, it's a joint effort. Who is bearing the liability? Is that divided among all of us, like the school, us, or who bears the liability?
It's
Bob, can you
entirely
answer that, please?
under the contract with between Yeoman Creek and the Resource Group, which is composed of 6 or 7 different entities, mostly the district, the park district, the city. Goodyear is in there, Axo Nobel, etc. And all those folks, we spent 4 months, if 5, building this lease and this contract, shifting all the responsibility for the solar panels to the contractor, which is BQ Energy, and they have insurance in place, layers of insurance. It's very carefully structured so that there is no tangible risk to the city. And I will add that the US EPA and IEPA and Illinois Power Authority have all signed off on this.
Good, good.
Mayor, one other, not exactly, but kind of related on the side. I think you will recall Mr. Huey Tobias owns that building where the insurance company is right there by the landfill on Sunset.
Yes, sir.
You remember you and I went up there and talked to Huey, and he described how they got that shed there and all that equipment that runs through his property and alongside the building and in the basement and so forth. Was there ever any, or might there be an opportunity to engage these folks to remove that equipment? And Bob, it goes back way back. I think you may have had some insight in that. It goes way back when the original contract was signed, they forced that equipment into the building. Is that something that we might bring to the fore during this?
It has already been brought up multiple times, and the US EPA has to sign off on something called the passive gas remediation module. As soon as, once they approve that, and the testing, they haven't allowed us to start the testing phase yet. Once the testing phase is complete and the passive gas system has proved itself to be as good as the electrically fan-driven vented system that we have.
Right.
Then finally, they should be in a position to allow us to remove the shed and some of the other materials, things that are out there. But I believe that shed is actually on Yeoman Creek property. I don't think it's on the property of your
No, this is
neighbor.
Yes, it's a shed and some equipment. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it has to stay there. The US EPA said so.
All right, I'll convey that to
They're
Mr.
backed by
Tobias.
the federal court and the Department of Justice.
Okay, I'll try to convey that to Mr. Tobias. Thank you.
I know that's a long, frustrated thing for him.
Yeah, it has been. So thank you.
And Alderman Florian, I know you have your hand up. Before that goes on, everybody, I know there was an exchange between Alderman Turner and myself. He and I often have these, but they're a little bit more private. I apologize for making them come public here, but rest assured, there is no disheart or anger toward either one of us. And sometimes we normally do that in a little more private setting.
Thank you.
I apologize to the fans, more so to you, Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Mayor, for clarifying
thank you.
that. I totally agree.
No problem.
For those who don't know, the mayor and I have a long relationship, and we often go at it, and I will apologize as well for my passion.
Correct. No problem. Alderman Florian, please, ma'am.
I'm curious, does the city own the old Johns Manville property? Because I would think this would be a project that might be worthwhile looking into for that property also.
No, that is owned by a unit of Berkshire Hathaway. We do not own that.
Okay.
And Alderman, I would tell you, we don't want to own that one.
No, you don't want to own that one.
Yeah, they can have that one.
And we did incidentally talk to the people at Berkshire Hathaway, their operating unit and closed sites people, probably about a year and a half ago, about that exact same topic. The problem with that site is the asbestos is too close to the top of the soil, and for them to run underground cables and electric in there, they would have to take significant amounts of additional fill. And they don't want to spend that kind of money for the comparatively small return it would generate from solar panels.
Wow. I thought, and I know we're getting off track a little bit, but I thought that asbestos was more underground. And
it is.
Cap on it, Bob.
It is, but the problem is, in order to put solar panels on that particular site, you have to bore them deep enough.
Oh,
you would go through the cap. So the only other way around it is to add additional fill.
Okay.
That's prohibitive.
Point well taken. Good question, Alderman Florian. Any other questions to the item D? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, sir.
Motion passed and carried. Items 4J, motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Rivera, to authorize additional spending authority for $33,135.37 to water products for the purpose of annual hydrant.
Item H.
Oh, I thought all right. Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Rivera, authorize additional spending authority of $33,654 to Boulder Construction for the water treatment plant, high service pumps contract awarded on October 19, 2020 for $2,197,300 for a new and revised contract amount of $2,230,954. This project is funded using water and sewer revenue bonds. Alderman Turner, you had a question to the motion?
Yes, sir. I was just curious why this was done as an additional spending authority, a request for additional spending authority as opposed to a change order, which would normally be the case, I would think. Right? Why don't we have a change order here?
Bob, I don't know if it's in, but what it was, there was something that was added to that needed to be done on top of that. and Tony was here to tell us what it was. But it was something that was added to the, I want to say, oh goodness,
In the paperwork.
lead. It was lead in there, but it was added to there. So it was an addition to the existing contract. I don't think there is anything different to that from.
Mayor,
Alderman Newsom might probably can better explain it.
there was an original cost of, the total cost of this was $62,350.
Okay.
And there was some contingency put in of $35,000.
And we went over.
So the IEPA changed. There was a change with the IEPA of $6,304, which took away from the contingency. So with that change, we needed the $33,654.
So it wasn't a change order, it was an adjustment.
An adjustment because of the IEPA.
Great. Thank you for your explanation, Alderman. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Treasurer Schwab.
Treasurer Schwab, sir.
Is this money coming out of the 2018 bonds or is it 2020 bonds?
That's 2018 still, Doc.
Yeah, and there was some asbestos and stuff. That's why the
I know it's some lead. I know it's some lead on some of those pipes in addition to asbestos. That's what I remember talking to him about, but oh well. So the contingency, wow. And they changing the specs from, well, that's not good. All right, any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Rivera again to authorize additional spending authority of $33,135.37 to water products for the purpose of annual hydrant contract awarded on July 6, 2020 for $45,000 for the new and the revised contract of $78,135.37. And no, we talked about that. Alderman Newsom, you want to give what was discussed and finance?
I'm sorry. There was a contract with water products for annual hydrants. Bid was $45,000. That was approved at the council in 2020 with money spent for the water main lining. And Mr. Hewitt was on earlier and he explained that after they had to go in and replace all those water hydrants with some different type of lining or something.
It was the valves. It was the valves. They had to. It was additional valves that needed to be changed with that lining.
And lining. So that was additional, and this was done, I believe, in-house. So that added to the original. So it was a change order for $33,135.
Yeah, that was for the in-house portion. We did the valves, but it costs different for the linings on that.
Right.
Alderman Turner, I know that's probably the question you have.
Yeah.
So the cost came in.
My question again is a 73% spend increase, and it's just that we just spend 73% more. I guess I'm satisfied with I understand what happened and why. I just have a problem with spending money with what appears to be a lack of transparency and oversight. And I'm not making accusations. I'm just saying I'd like to hear some kind of accountability for our spend.
I think Alderman Turner, I think sometimes when you say those things, how you present it, it appears that it sounds like staff is not, or if you want to blame it on me, I'll take the hit for it. It's no problem. It appears that we're not doing our due diligence with these costs. These are costs that are going to happen when you are upgrading, investing, rebuilding a century-old systems. There is nothing that you can do until you get down there. All the engineering, all of the planning that we want to, we've built in contingencies. I'm here to tell you, with some of the things that we're doing underground, these are going to come up. The great part about it, from a transparent standpoint, we're trying to inform you ahead of time when they come up, building in those contingencies. It exceeded that. Luckily, you have the skill set of staff in the water main department who can do some of these upgrades, along with those who we partner with to handle the lining of those. While they might be frustrating to you, they're equally frustrating to the various departments.
I'm sorry.
They're complicated, and I wish they weren't, but they are. And you're going to see a lot more of this as we move into our water system. It's a maintenance issue.
I get it.
I think the goal for us is
manage multi-million-dollar projects myself.
I get it, and I know you have, so you somewhat understand what's going on. It is frustrating, but the key here is we caught it before it became more costly and detrimental to the operations of operating our water system, and that's the key.
Yeah, great.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, sir.
Motion passed and carried. Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman, I'm going to say Seager, on motion to authorize proper city official to extend contract with Frank J. Furlan, PELS, as a consultant civil engineer, professional services per section 2-458, parentheses I, parentheses 4, for an amount not to exceed 90,000 for May 1, 2021 to April 30th, 2022 fiscal year. Alderman Turner, you had a question.
Yes, sir. Again, my comment on no bid contracts and others having an opportunity to bid on providing services to the city. And that is the purpose of our bid ordinances and so forth and so on. And I would really like to see more of these contracts open up to bid and others having an opportunity to bid on them. Thank you.
Duly noted. Any other questions? Alderman Florian.
There was quite a bit of discussion in the committee regarding the knowledge Mr. Furlan has and the fact that all of us are a little nervous about him leaving us with that knowledge. And so we'd like to consider trying to get somebody to apprentice under him or whatever you want to call it to prevent a problem going forward.
Actually, ma'am, we brought that to this body this last year, saying that we were going to be moving to that direction. COVID-19 changed the game on us on that one. Frank understands that. IEI understands that. I want to rebuild Waukegan City Engineering Department. Fortunately, well, unfortunate, there's a major cost associated in a major transition. So that is still on the table, always have been, since I took office in 2017. COVID-19 has made us all rearrange how we manage city operations. But I can assure you, third quarter of 2021, we're probably gonna be looking to bring in a GIS, an external GIS person. We have an external GIS, civil engineer, identify who's out there and available for a target price. To rebuild our engineering department, you're gonna be looking roughly $700,000. That is 8 civil engineers, a couple of GIS, and probably a engineer in training, having all those. Just some history here. At one point in time, we had 4 engineers on staff, 2 GIS. And then others helping out. That was a whole staff, a city of our size. Lord knows we need it. But as you all know, just transitioning into that is not an easy process. But I can assure you that is on the agenda. Well, it was already on the agenda. We just had to delay it. Alderman Rivera, you had a question, sir.
Yeah, more of a comment. Agreed, it is a difficult process. It is a lengthy process, but until we start it, I mean, we're not going anywhere. This is the third conversation that we've had regarding Frank that I've been involved with as an alderman. And each time it has been brought up, this is a resource. We're gonna, we need to backfill on this resource. We need to, and I understand COVID and lots of things, but again, if we don't start, even with COVID, we need to begin and move forward on this, or else we're gonna keep talking about it, and next year we're gonna come up with another vote just like this, and we'll have this very same conversation again.
Well, I disagree with you. And just to be clear, Alderman, what Frank has been able to do and started already, we've already started with those, putting all of those files and things together. So that's already started. So to your point, I agree with you. We're just talking about a physical person being in the chair. But Frank started that about 2 years ago because I asked him to, and he understands that. So that's something we have that recorded in. As you know, and you probably don't know this, but the engineering department was out at Public Works. My goal is to bring the engineering back here to City Hall. And in order to do that, we still had to start capturing all of these, some of these, and I tell you the 14th Street, a little bit of history of the 14th Street. What happened on the 14th Street is someone probably did not ask Frank where the real water main was at, along with Mr. Felly and Chris, where the water main was at. They assumed if they would have asked Frank, he could have told them. He built it for Waukegan in North Chicago. So what he's been able to do is capture that now in some of our files, in some of those, put them on microfiche, be able to recapture those in the GIS system. As you all know, we hired a GIS person. That's just for Public Works. We need that for what? For engineering. So we've started that process. To that question is about putting a physical body in the chair. And that's something you and I are going to move to. Like I said, this was supposed to happen this year. Well, last year, third quarter. We're looking at this year, third quarter. But listen, we are ready to put, at least I am, to put an engineering department in place for the city of Waukegan. But that doesn't mean that we're still not going to have outside engineers. So that's going to happen because of our community and the size that we have and the things that we have to do in order for us to function. So I hear you. Today is another one of those days that we have to go, but it is what it is. We're going to match what it is to get past it, but we'll get there. I assure you that, sir. All right. No other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Motion passed, sir.
Motion passed and carried. That's all of item 4. Item 5, Treasurer's Report. The Treasurer's monthly report is on file. Dr. Schwab, did you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. No, there's no items for 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm sorry, 6, 7, and 8. Item 9, Alderman's time. Madam Clerk.
Alderman Taylor.
Well, I think tonight shows that we don't necessarily do a great job tracking some of our contracts. Some of them have ended at times and we haven't renewed them, and there's gaps in things. And that we really need to look at getting multiple bids, but that's all. I'll comment on that for now. I do want to talk a lot tonight about 2 things. One is we are having a massive problem with snow in some of our subdivisions that is piling so high that we need to move it out. It's blocking vision for people turning corners and that kind of thing. So we need to go through some of our subdivisions and look at that. I also still have a lot of residents who are having trouble with the alternate parking. Some of them have been ticketed, and then they look at the signs and the signs don't match the times that we have put out. So we still need to revise some of our alternate parking because it's very confusing for residents. Last, I want to talk about the COVID vaccines, in particular for people in the 8th and 9th wards. If you had called some of the places like the Greenbelt or the Oak Creek or Oak Street Health Clinic. The Oak Street Health Clinic has been fairly good at telling you if you live within 10 miles, you're fine. The other one is telling you that you have to have a 60085 or 60087 zip code, which is part of Waukegan zip codes. In fact, it is open to all residents that live in Waukegan. So if any of you are having problems, please feel free to call me. I will be more than happy to call on your behalf. But it is open to all Waukegan residents, not just those zip codes. So I want to make that clear tonight because, like I said, that specifically affects people living in the 8th and the 9th wards that may have a Gurnee, Beach Park, or Libertyville address, but are still eligible if they're 65 and older to receive the vaccine. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bolton.
Yes, just kind of piggybacking off of what Alderman Taylor had mentioned, another opportunity for those that are 65 and older that are residents of Waukegan and North Chicago. They're giving the vaccine shot and offering that at the Greenbelt. And I'm going to provide a phone number for you to contact in case you want to register. And that number is 847-582-1365. That number again is 847-582-1362. Let me once again, 847-582-1362. And that's offered at the Greenbelt for those that are 65 and older, residents of Waukegan and North Chicago. And I'd like to thank all our church community leaders for their volunteer and their time in participating in offering the invocation during our city council meetings. And I work closely with our Susan Figueroa, our Director of Community Affairs, and we just really appreciate your volunteering your time. Also, I appreciate the mayor acknowledging our historian, Dr. Woodson, I believe he had mentioned, who made a great deal of contribution in causing us to embrace this month as Waukegan Black History Month. And then I'd like to acknowledge and welcome to the first ward, a new business called Focus. And their target is to help our young people that are struggling academically. And they're located at 626 10th Street in Waukegan. I got a chance to visit there and be there at their grand opening. And I think they're going to make a great deal of contribution to our children that are struggling. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Seager.
Yes.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I want to give kudos to the Public Works Department. Certainly with a lot of snow, it was moved very nicely, even though we still have a lot of snow that is piling up, as Alderman Taylor stated. But still, we need to make sure that with the alternating parking that we adhere to it until we get it so it fits everyone. But certainly in the 4th ward, we need to make sure we're moving the cars, on the even side of the street, on the even days and so forth. We also need to make sure that we adhere to those hours. The trucks do come by, they'll just go around you, they'll pile the snow in. So we need to make sure that we adhere to that. Also, for the 4th ward, we're going to be having another ward meeting. This one will take place on March 5th, Tuesday, March 5th at 6 o'clock. If you have questions that you want answered, you can text them to me at this number, 224-470-8595. I'll repeat that, 224-470-8595. Or you can leave them on my email, Rudell, ROUDELL .kirkwood@waukeganil.gov. I'll read that again. Rudell, ROUDELL .kirkwood@waukeganil.gov. Also, you can give me a call at 844-484-9273. Also, there will be another ward meeting after the March 5th ward meeting will be on June 8th. Mark your calendars for that. Also, with garbage, we need to make sure that we take our garbage cans and put them back in. They cannot sit out on the road. Let's make sure that we do that. Also, neighborhood watch programs. Those individuals that are interested in starting those programs, you can give me a call at the numbers that I gave you, 844-484-9273. There are several that are meeting. I'll be calling those captains as I did last week. Also, you can leave me, once again, a text message at 224-470-8595. Also, if there's any concerns you have in the ward, please give me a call. We're aware that there were some buildings that did not have heat. We've taken care of that. But anytime you have that, no matter what day of the week is or the time, please feel free to give me a call. Once again, let's celebrate American history, which Black history is a part of. This country was built on all of us. Our diversity is our greatest strength. Let's keep that in mind as we work together for the greater good of the city of Waukegan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Newsome.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just two things. Thanks to Public Works for the job that they're doing with the snow removal. And as stated before, we have a lot more that needs to be done, and just want to thank the mayor and Public Works staff. That's going to be, I believe you said, in the process of trying to remove a lot of that snow and get rid of it. So I appreciate that. And also wanted to make mention that Advance did not do any garbage pickup today. So they're going to be a day behind. So if residents have their garbage out today, leave their garbage cans out. That Monday's pickup or Tuesday's pickup will be tomorrow. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. During the 6th ward, we had our Q1 ward meeting on Thursday, 4th, and I want to thank everyone for the tremendous participation. A great audience, a great number of residents who participated. If you're watching this and you did not get an email invitation to that meeting, it's because I don't have your email address. So please call me or text me or email me. My contact information is phone number 847-445.
Hi, we're at 2401 Grand Avenue.
847-445-3788. And my email is Keith, K-E-I-T-H-E, or Keith at KeithETurner.com. So my first name at my first name, middle initial, last name.com. You just send me an email or text, communicate with me. I'll get you on my list. Also a reminder, with the cold weather and this tremendous amount of snow, many of our elderly and mobility challenged folks can't get out and do for themselves. If you have it within you, please help a neighbor, shovel a sidewalk or a porch, run an errand, ask your elderly if they need help getting their medications or food. We all live together, and we don't just live in the ward, we're each other's neighbors. So let's help where we can. We have 7 distinct business districts in the 7th ward, and now that we're opening up, we have a lot of several restaurants. I think we have like 10 restaurants in the ward. So please support our local businesses. Let's get out there and start living again. And I want to thank everyone for your attention tonight. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you. Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, as indicated by Alderman Turner, check in on the neighbors. One of the biggest signs that you'll see is if you're driving by and that driveway isn't shoveled or the walkway isn't shoveled, something's wrong. I mean, by tomorrow, it's a clear indicator. Some people may need some help. So if you have the opportunity, you have the resources, please go out there and check in on our neighbors. Also, the alternate parking. I know that there's an issue with the signs. I believe not all of the signs have been changed. That's a correct statement.
I guess, what do you mean? We put it out. It's put out, sir. I don't.
Not all of the street signs have been changed, at least in the 9th Ward.
Yeah, there are some areas that the street signs haven't been changed to correct the timing of the alternate parking, I believe it is.
Let's be clear. I've never seen alternate street signs. That's just been an ordinance, and we've communicated that ordinance. So I don't know who told you that street signs need to be made for alternate parking.
No. That's what I'm saying, that there's comments been made that signs haven't been changed.
The police won't issue tickets if the sign's not correct.
That's incorrect, ma'am.
Well, that's what they told me.
They did issue tickets in my ward, but they weren't honored because of that.
Major entry points.
Oh, okay. In subdivisions.
Yes.
Intersections.
Oh, okay. You're talking about in subdivisions.
Yes.
In subdivisions. So, but that really has no bearing on how we apply the ordinance throughout the city. So,
communication is pretty important.
Alderman, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it was an ordinance that we did communicate out. In yours, for example, in some subdivisions, those subdivisions have signs that dictate permit parking, this parking, no this. Yes, I was under the impression that those signs were the subdivision's responsibility. But if it's the city, we'll get them done. I know Mr. Durkin was working on all that. We're buying materials for that. But I think, just so we're clear, throughout the city of Waukegan, we don't put up signs, this is alternate parking. We do not put signs up for that. That's what an ordinance is all about. And from a communication standpoint, Alderman, we did communicate that out. Not only did you guys do it, but we did it. We did it through the paper. We did it as best as we can, as with all ordinances that we have.
So I think we should continue to communicate.
Okay.
One of the suggestions that I had given was the water bill, where it says right here, this section can be changed, and all it has right now is just our hours, the city hours, and that's a place where we can at least hit every single resident with a notifier of what we're changing. So again, it's just a suggestion, because communication is pretty important, especially when it comes to this, because it is going to affect their pocketbooks.
But Alderman, let me be clear. You made that suggestion, and remember we told you there's a cycle that goes on? So that's the cycle. That's already been put in place, sir.
But nobody's seeing it. And
I'm sorry, but like I said, there's a cycle, billing cycle. Felix, you're used to this too. We was at Allstate. There's a billing cycle that goes on, but we'll check on it tomorrow for you.
But the billing cycle is monthly. I was told that this could be changed in a matter of a day.
No, I'm sorry, sir. Let me find out. Let's just find out.
Okay.
I know it can. That cannot.
Okay. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was meeting interruptions. I mean, we're supposed to be professionals here, and it seems like before somebody stops speaking, somebody already kicks in and there are interruptions, and for a while there, that meeting kind of got a little bit out of hand. I don't know if maybe Bob is supposed to be calling people to order when they get out of order, or or if we just continue to talk over each other like that. But it seemed very unprofessional. And if I was an audience looking at this, I'd be very, very confused as to what was occurring at that time. So I would just suggest that we conduct ourselves in a little bit more reasonable manner. And that's all I would have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman. And I'm assuming you're talking about me over talking. But again, I apologize to the Alderman, but what went out there was something he and I normally, we truly have a different type of relationship in person. So we'll wait.
Oh, and it's understood, and you know, and we are all friends. You know, one of the
Thank
things
you for saying that.
No, one of the things that brings us together is our city, and we are here because we all want to do something for it. So that's what we share. So we are friends. We just need to conduct ourselves just a little bit more, you know, it's low down. What is it? Key down the passion a little bit.
Well, thank you, Alderman. I'm glad that you said that.
And again, you know, we're all friends here. We're all here for one purpose: to move our town forward.
Thank you, Alderman Rivera, and that warms my heart to hear that comes from you. Really, it does.
Thank you, sir.
All right, here we go. Next.
Thank you. Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I wanted to take this time to thank Alderman Newsom. Apparently, one of my residents didn't have my contact information and reached out to her about a water emergency of some sort, and they followed up with me later, and we're very grateful you helped them. So thank you for that. I know sometimes that happens to all of us where somebody doesn't know exactly who their alderman was. I had someone from, I think it was Keith's ward, call me a couple weeks ago yelling about the alternate parking ordinance. And so I listened, and then I explained I wasn't their alderman. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for that. I appreciate you helping her out. She was very grateful. She sounded like she was in a panic when it happened. Last week, or not last week, last meeting, Alderman Taylor mentioned the problem we have with speeding in our city. And I wanted to share a little story from my family. I have a family member that was involved in a serious accident from a speeding incident, and a young man was killed. And all of you that know me know I'm a social justice warrior, and my niece's stepson had faced 37 years in jail for this incident. Luckily for us, he got a judge that was reasonable, and he only ended up getting sentenced to 7 years in prison. But the young man who died is not coming back, and now our family member will lose 7 years of his life from an accident from speeding. So I just wanted to put that out there. I've been doing some thinking about, you know, what the purpose of going to jail is, and that. And I have a friend who's one of our Lake County judges, and so I told him the story, and I asked him about, you know, I said, what's the purpose of going to jail? What's supposed to happen as a result of that? And he said, well, one of the biggest things is it's a deterrent to other people to not do what happened, and to prevent them from going down the same path. So I wanted to expound on that and let everyone know that it's a serious thing, especially when the weather's like it's been this last month. So slow down, be careful, take just a little bit more time getting where you're going to go, and you may save someone else's life as well as a lot of tragedy for your own life. So thank you very much.
Excellent reminder, Alderman. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. That concludes all the audience on Alderman's time.
All right. I'm going to read a statement for myself. Thank you, Alderman, for saying check on your neighbors. That was very, very important. Subdivision plowing. I know that we're having some issues with those who are contracted in subdivisions with the plowing. We're probably going to be sending out either the public works foreman or building commission code enforcement to let them know, guys, you're supposed to do what we're doing. Don't put the snow in the street, haul it away to wherever you go to do other things. And that's been the biggest challenge. And I think in two of the to the subdivisions out west and northwest here. So be ready, and if probably we had to do a joint together, aldermen, to talk to those subdivisions. They're supposed to plow, but take the snow away, not, put the snow on the street for us to take away. They are hired to plow and part of plowing and removing of snow. That's part of the contract. With that being said, I'm going to close out with this. We are in the midst of one of the deadliest pandemics this world has seen. We all witness the devastation effects that lies and lacks of transparency can have. Dishonesty and deceit is something that can't be tolerated. And that's why I want to address a mailer that contains inflammatory allegations and attacks on my character and leadership. Let me first state emotionally that the contents of the mailers are false, misleading, inflammatory. I'm very disturbed, somewhat disgusted, and extremely disappointed in anybody responsible for disseminating these incredible lies. I trust that the citizens of Waukegan know my character. You know that I stand for values, integrity, morals, hard work, dedication, and serving as a public servant, the people of this great city. I not only pay lip service to those standards, but I live them every day in every way, respecting all people, no matter who they are, where they live, or what challenges they may have had in their life. I am passionate, and I make no excuses about that issue. It is because I'm passionate about the great city that I live in and all the wonderful people and all the backgrounds and ethnicities who join me in calling this place your home. Notwithstanding, I want to address these lies head on, dispel all rumors, and bury these inflammatory untruths right now. I want to give notice that I will not sit back and allow dishonesty, lies, and untruthful attacks to negatively affect my reputation as a competent and capable father, man, and leader for this city. And as a respectful human being, I won't allow lies to destroy me and consume or overshadow the progress, the strong momentum, and the goals that we all have set for our city. I will fight to ensure that all the progress that has been made during our tenure as leaders, more importantly, my administration, continue as I lead us into, I try with the support and help, lead us into the next millennium for this community. I'm prepared, though, to pursue any remedies available by law if I have to. I hope it doesn't come to that, but be absolutely clear. I will fight for my honor, and I will always fight for the best for Waukegan residents in the business community. I pledge to continue to run for the leadership with honesty, transparency, most of all, integrity. I pray that others will leave the untruths, personal attacks, lies, and deceptive practices in a gutter where they belong. And that we all will rise to a level of decency and truth. So as we move through the election process, we can focus on the important issues that affect our city, our community, because that is what the good people of this city truly deserves from all of us. Thank you for those who are listening, and I trust through this process that we call elections, that we will stick to what's important to the people of Waukegan, and that is a better future for us all. There's a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Seeger to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
You're muted.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Thank you, Mayor. Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
There you go.
Motion is passed and carried. As always, folks, please take care. Please try to stay healthy, stay home when necessary. God bless you. Talk to you guys later.
Everybody have a safe night.
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.